Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Sober's channel, and today I got in the Jeremy Lin shoe. So this shoe is by XTEP. I've never really heard of them before, and there's a lot of companies or shoe companies in China, I guess, right? So there's Anta, Li Ning, Peak, and then now XTEP, and I guess 361 or something like that, 361 degrees. So yeah, out of nowhere, Jeremy Lin signed with them and he got a signature shoe. So this shoe is called the XTEP Jeremy Lin Levitation 4. So I guess I'll just call it the Levitation. I don't really know what the 4 is for. If you guys want to cop, this shoe's going for 115 bucks. And then there's another colorway on Famuji. It's this white and like blue iridescent purple color, which is really dope, and that's going for 110 bucks. So if you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the traction. They're using a herringbone pattern. And I don't really know what these indentations are for. You know, it's not like there's a zoom unit or like a softer foam that they're using right here in the middle of the forefoot and in the middle of the heel. So I think it's more of just a design choice. There's like very limited information that I can find on the actual tech. And the rubber is very deep, very thick, and also very hard. So durability seems really good, especially on outdoor courts. You guys already know how Chinese companies are. They make very hard rubbers. And then on my floors, this traction pattern squeaks like crazy and stops on a dime. So I mean, I'm very excited. It's very translucent. You can see some gold speckles in the actual outsole, which is kind of cool. So I feel like it might pick up a little bit of dust, but I'm very excited to try these out. Alright, here in the midfoot area, you have what they're calling an X support. So it's basically just a plastic midfoot shank, and then it connects here into the lateral side, which cages the cushion and acts as a lateral counter. And there's kind of like this eclipse plate. So they decoupled the shoe, but they connected it with this X support plate and rubber here on like more the lateral side, which is interesting, and then you can see a hole through there. So I think that's a very nice solution, especially for me, because like I keep saying, I don't like decoupled midsoles. Like for example, in the Jordan 28, even though it's carbon fiber, like when I was playing in them, the shoe would kind of collapse on itself, and I would feel that, and it wasn't a deal breaker or anything, but I didn't really like how it felt. But the good thing about decoupling is that it sheds off a lot of weight, like, you know, from the outsole and from the midsole. So just connecting it with this rubber and plastic piece, which is probably a little bit lighter than if this whole part was filled with midsole, allows for this decoupling to not collapse on itself, but also you get the benefits of the decoupling. So I think that's a very nice solution, you know, and it looks very similar to the eclipse plate from the Jordan 34. So there's that. As far as the cushioning goes, I don't know what their cushioning is. Like on their website, it doesn't say anything about their cushion. And it doesn't say anything anywhere on the shoe on what the cushion is. You know, like Chinese companies, for some reason, they like to name everything. Well, not just Chinese companies, like all shoe companies in general. So like X support and like, I believe that's about it. But the cushion is super stiff and I don't like it very much. The court feel seems pretty good. There's absolutely no feeling in the cushion. It's not soft. There's no compression anywhere in the shoe. It's pretty caged here in the heel. Like the rubber does come up quite a bit, or I guess like halfway. So that also doesn't allow for like a lot of compression in the heel. So yeah, not a huge fan of the cushioning so far. And I feel like it's more just gonna be a responsive type of cushion, which I'm not mad at. And look at how heavily caged the cushioning is, like on the lateral side. But the insole is very nice. The insole, it says XTEP on top, and it's pretty soft, pretty thick, so it makes the stepping comfort a little bit more comfortable. Alright, moving on to the material, they're just using a mesh material, or that's what they're saying, but it doesn't really look like a mesh. It looks more just like a textile, but it's heavily fused up here in the toe area, and it extends here all the way into the midfoot. And then you have this clear plastic wing that also acts like eyelets, and it connects to the laces. And then here in the back, it's in this shoe and in this colorway, you have a dragon embroidered into the actual upper. I mean, it's super thin. And I'm actually not mad at the fuse at all, but I feel like it's a little too much. What you think? And this fuse doesn't feel very high quality. It feels very plasticky. I don't know how I'm gonna judge the quality of fuse, but it just doesn't feel very nice, you know? And then you have an elastic strap in the forefoot, which doesn't do anything. Like, it's basically useless. It's kind of loose on the shoe. There's rope laces, and then the actual tongue is attached to a material that goes underneath the upper. So it's not an independent tongue. It doesn't move around when you play, which is very good. And then the actual tongue is pretty well padded. It feels very nice on the foot. There's a good amount of padding here in the ankle area as well as in the Achilles pad. It's kind of weird because it's not here in the back of the heel. It's like on the sides. So it's more like an ankle bone pillow or something. and not an Achilles pillow. But nonetheless, it feels very nice. It feels like memory foam, so it feels very comfortable. And one thing to note is that I really like this lining. The lining material feels very, very soft and smooth. And then one thing that I noticed in the shoe is like this plastic wing. They're just doing too much with this fuse, with this cage, and this plastic wing with holes. And these holes I thought would act like another eyelet, so that you can customize the fit a little bit more, make it fit a little bit tighter in the midfoot area, but that's not the case. It just has holes in it, which is weird. And then here in the heel area, you have kind of like a pull tab with the XTEP logo, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, you have a heel tab, which makes the shoe easier to put on, but then you can't, this doesn't help you put on the shoe or anything, and it's like so tight and close to the shoe that I can't even put my finger through it. So that's kind of useless. I feel like it's more of a waste of material. And so not a huge fan of the materials. Not a huge fan at all. Moving on to the fit, I went true to size and it runs pretty long, so I would suggest going down half a size. There's a good amount of toe space, and width wise I would say it's around normal. So moving on to support and lockdown, obviously I don't know because I haven't played in these yet, but I feel like they're gonna be very, very nice. So there is an outrigger here. The outsole protrudes out a lot here in the forefoot lateral side, so that's gonna help with lateral stability, keeping the base very, very wide. As far as the lateral support goes, I mean, there is an internal TPU heel counter. You have this foam coming up, you have this plastic wing piece, and then you have another lateral piece which is connected to this X support plate, which provides you with good lateral support in the midfoot. And then, I mean, there's really nothing in the forefoot, but this material seems very supportive, especially with this fuse overlay. So I feel like the lateral containment is going to be very good. And of course, this is low, so you don't really feel anything as far as like ankle support goes. Alright, let's move on to the weight, which is something that I'm very, very curious about. This shoe feels very heavy, so I don't know, I'm guessing like 14 ounces? 15.84 ounces, dude. Holy crap. This X support plate, I feel like is a little too much. The actual foam feels very, very dense. So I think the cushioning actually adds a lot of weight. You have just a lot of extra materials that you don't need. Like, you don't need this elastic band, you don't need this plastic wing thing, you don't need this plastic heel tab either, and then like all this fuse and stuff. But also I don't really think the fuse adds that much weight. I feel like they're just doing a little too much. You just gotta take some stuff off of this shoe, you know? So yeah, almost 16 ounces for a freaking low is like, that's too much. And yeah, it definitely feels heavy, but I feel like it can be a very responsive shoe. Like, if the traction is as good as it seems right now, it's gonna be a very responsive shoe. Moving on to the aesthetics, yeah, I feel like it's a dope looking shoe, especially the two colorways that are available on Famuji, like that white and blue one, and then this black and gold one is just super sick. And the overall silhouette's also not that bad. I'm not a huge fan of these lines on this plastic caging, but other than that, I like the overall silhouette. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. But as far as my first impressions go, I mean, I'm a little indifferent. The traction seems like it's gonna be insane, but that's about it. The cushioning doesn't feel very nice right now. The materials aren't my favorite, and it's very heavy. So my first impressions are right now. But you know, all of that can change. Again, if you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.